Good afternoon, dear viewers, and welcome back to Mexican News. Today, we are going to talk about aspects of international trade, a topic that today impact business and consumer around the world. We'll discuss tariff and non-tariff barriers, two essential aspects that Mexico uses to regulate its commercial environment. Today, we'll take a closer look at what these barriers are, how they work, and why they are important. We'll also look at the legal framework for these policies and discuss the potential impact they have on Mexico's economic and trade relations. These barriers play an important role in controlling the entry of foreign products in order to favor local products from each country, serving as a means to import and export different products. Now let's talk to our reporter for an in-depth look at the tariff and non-tariff barriers and what they mean for Mexico.
Thank you, Fernand. As we know, in international trade, Mexico uses tariff and non-tariff barriers to protect its economic and promote growth in local industry. Let's take a closer look at each one. Tariff and barriers are taxes better known in trade as duty that must be paid to a country by importers and exporters at the custom of entry and exit of goods. These barriers are regulated by the Foreign Trade Law and the tariff of the General Import and Export Tax Law. For example, tariff and import agriculture products protect Mexican producers by making them less competitive in the domestic market. Now, non-tariff barriers, they are not taxes, but rather restrict measures on international trade that make it more difficult or rather protect the entry of goods into a country, but without raising taxes. Some restrictions are important, quote, prior license and quality and label specification. These barriers are regulated by the Foreign Trade Law and various regulations of the Ministry of Economy. An example in the Mexican official standard, which establish certain characteristics that process or service must meet when they may pose and receive to people safety. And now we have an interview with Dr. Ana Mendoza. She's an expert in international trade. What are the implications of these barriers?
Well, good afternoon. As we know, tariff and non-tariff barriers are aspects that are essential for Mexico, and the reason is to protect its economy, but the country also has to adhere some international agreements like the USMCA and the WTO rules. And well, this means that Mexico must use these measures fairly and transparently, avoiding the excessive protectionism practices.
Okay, the next question is, could you provide me an example of how this affects an international company?
Yeah, of course. Well, if a company wants to import, for example, electronic products, it must ensure they meet the Mexico norms to respect all the official documents that Mexico needs, which may require some adjustments to labeling or safety standards. And will also this add some extra cost and time to the import process, but well, this is like a protection for Mexico consumers.
Okay, the next question is, are these challenges that smaller companies face when trying to comply with these regulations?
Absolutely. Smaller companies often lack the resources and infrastructure to navigate complex regulatory environments. Also, unlike larger corporations, they might not have these dedicated legal or compliance teams to ensure that requirements. Also, as I have mentioned, such as these norms of Mexico for products labeling and safety. And well, this can also make entering the Mexican market particularly challenging for them, and also as they must invest additional time and resources to understand and comply with these standards.
Okay, that point is very interesting. Now, the next question is, How this regulation impacts the overall business environment in Mexico?
Okay, on one hand, well, these regulations create a safer and more reliable market for the consumers, which builds trust and boosts demand. Also, well, however, they also have this potential to slow down the entry of new products and some other companies. Also, as meeting all these requirements can be costly. What this means is that the companies must carefully evaluate these costs and the potential return on the investment that they have made before deciding to enter to the Mexican market. Well, as we know, they are too much extra cost that the company has to see if they are benefit to make this.
Okay, now, is there any support available for companies trying to comply with these standards?
Yes, these are several government programs and the trade associations that offer guidance and resources. Additionally, there are some consulting firms specialized in helping foreign companies meet Mexican standards and navigate the regulatory landscape. Also, these resources can be invaluable, especially for smaller companies or newcomers to the market. And finally, as they help streamline for this compliance process and reduce the potential obstacles.
Okay, the final question is, would you say these barriers are ultimately beneficial or detrimental to Mexico's economy?
Well, it's a difficult question, but I will say that they are necessary but must be implemented thoroughly, and also when managed properly, they protect these local industries and consumers, fostering a stronger economy in the long term. And well, however, if they are too restrictive or complex, they risk discouraging foreign investment and limiting Mexico's access to innovative products. And well, the key is to balance the protecting the economy without stealing this completion or the innovation that they exist.
Okay, thank you very much for your this interview, Doctora Ana Mendoza, and thank you for the viewers.
No, thank you very much, Carla, for this interview. It helps to the viewers to know more about the topic.
Thank you. Now we return with my partner Karen.
Thank you, Carla. Finally, tariff and non-tariff barriers are used not only to regulate trade, but also to meet the safety and quality requirements set by each country. This helps Mexican companies remain competitive in order to maintain the balance that has been achieved so far. Certain responsibilities must be upheld. As a member of various trade agreements, Mexico must ensure that these barriers are applied correctly and safely to avoid negatively affecting any of its trade relations. As global trade evolves, it's important for each country to adjust its barriers in order to make advantage of opportunities in international trade.
Thank you very much for joining us in this analysis. Remember that international trade is not only about goods crossing borders, but about creating economic alliances and fostering fair competition around the world. Stay informed, and we'll see you next time.